Yeah, the majority don't go out and buy alcohol. They don't go out and buy drugs. They spend it on necessities.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I mean, one of the examples quite often used is Alaska has what they call the Alaskan Permanent Fund. So
yeah.
every year they take some of the profits from the exploitation of Alaska by oil and gas companies and
Mm,
they pay it as a dividend to Alaskan residents. Now, again, evidence is showing there. So it's not a basic income. You're not getting it on a regular basis. The value changes every year. But you know that every year at a certain point, you're going to receive a lump of sum of
mhm.
money. And again, the evidence shows that people use that for paying college tuition fees for their kids, for paying off debts,
Yeah.
for major pieces of work around their house or deposits for a new property. There is this presumption that everyone just has a party when it comes out once a year, which, and again, going back to I do strongly believe in the for me, a basic income is universal, individual, and unconditional. They're kind of the
Yeah.
key characteristics. You regularly get it. Everybody gets it, and it's paid directly to you. It's not to a head of household. So you take away from that traditional, man as head of household receiving all the money. But for me, the really critical and exciting bit is that unconditionality. It's the fact
Mhm.
we do not attach it. So do you know what? Also, people using that money to buy things that are considered luxuries, I don't think is a bad thing.
No.
We did some work in Fife and we had some fantastic sessions, really humbling sessions with some residents in Fife to talk about what they might see a basic income doing for them, for example. And I remember one of the ladies saying, "Look, you don't have to include this in your report because I know it's not what you don't want to report on." She said, "But if I had a basic income, one of the things I do is that every so often on a Friday night, I'd buy a Chinese takeaway for my family to share." And she
Mhm.
said, "I know that's not a good use of money." I said, "Well, why not? When so many of us are in a position we're able to make that decision of that luxury." There was one of the Finnish participants said, "Since I had a basic income, now when I go into the supermarket, sometimes I buy the cheese I want and I like rather than just the one that's cheapest."
Mhm.
And it's not about encouraging consumerism. It's, obviously we're not encouraging unhealthy eating and binge drinking, but actually there's something around life being about joy and connection as well. And if people choose to use some of that money for, I see that as a very positive thing. But the evidence shows, when direct cash payments are made to people, so where it's, not necessarily being basic income experiments directly, but when there's been money given to people, they don't spend it on these undesirable products. Guy Standing ran a huge basic income experiment in India.
Mm.
And it was opposed by the Indian government when it started. It was actually supported by the United Nations because they said, you're just going to have villages of people sitting around drunk all day. And by the end of it, they were saying, actually, we take it back. This has been fantastic because people don't use it in that way. So it's a very empowering space for people, I think.